Let's just still wait 1 minute and then we'll get started. As everybody's coming on. So good to see you all. A lot of familiar faces that I'm really excited to see here. Okay, let's get started. It's 5 o'clock PST, 8 o'clock in the East, or somewhere else, another time wherever you are. But I don't know if any of you ever done Toastmaster. It's like an organism to learn to speak in public. And it's really, what we learn is that it's really important to start on time, to respect people that are here on time. So you guys, I'm so excited. And if you've been following me on Instagram, I've shared that more than once in the last week. But I think I've never been that excited to do a webinar and to share something with people. It's the first time in 10 years as an entrepreneur. I think it's the first time that I do something like that, where there's nothing I want to promote, nothing I want to sell. Yes, I'm going to talk about a little offer at the end, but it's definitely not to sell something. It's more to, if some of you need the support, it's going to be there. But the intention with this is really to help you create the life you desire in 2021. I was meditating and it really came as a guidance to do this. And the message was so clear: do this webinar, help people create the life that they want in 2021. And everything has been flowing since I had this guidance. So I know it was meant to be. And I truly believe, Pat, I see you with pen and paper. I love that, because I truly believe that if you apply what we're going to talk about tonight, you can completely transform your life, whatever is it that you desire in 2021. And you can just listen to this webinar, not take notes, not take it seriously, and continue as you've been doing. Or you can really take this seriously and take some notes and apply this and completely transform your life. So it's your choice. I'm just gonna look at the chat, make sure I'm not, okay, everybody's saying hi, that's awesome. So happy to see you all, guys. I'm gonna be, if you have any question, I'm gonna address them at the end, so you can type them in the chat, or maybe keep them at the end to make sure that I see them if we have time at the end of the call, the webinar. So let's get started. So what are we gonna look at tonight? So I'm gonna share a bit about my story. I think it's important for you that don't know me, that you understand who I am, where I'm coming from, and why I'm here telling you all about this tonight. There's two little things so I want to share before we start. We're going to talk about morning ritual. We're going to talk about gratitude. We're going to talk about understanding the power of your mind, about having a really clear vision. We're going to talk about how you can take control of your life, also how to be mindful, and I'm going to share one bonus tip. I know I had said 6 tips when I was talking on Instagram, but as I was creating my presentation, I was like, oh, I have to share this and this. But it may sound like a lot of things, but you'll see that everything is connected. Everything is connected, and it's not just like one new thing on top of the other. You'll see that there's a link between all of this. So who am I? I want to move this so that it's not in the way. Yeah, so who am I? My name is Natasha. For you that don't know me, I know a lot of you have been following me for a while, so you know who I am. But just to maybe go back, where I'm coming from, so you understand again why I'm sharing this with you. Since I'm very, very young, life does not make sense to me. I remember seeing my dad go into work, he had a big business, so he was working hard. And I remember being young and just not understanding, life wasn't making sense. It wasn't making sense for me that, not life, but more the society, or more how we were doing things, right? I'm like, why did we came on this planet to work so hard and just work? And all of that, the way society has programmed us, that didn't make sense. So I think because I didn't feel like I fitted in the school and go to school, find a job and get married and blah, blah, blah. I didn't fit in this. So I was always searching of like, I didn't know what I wanted to do because that didn't fit with me. So I went on a big search, traveled, did a lot of things, and studied. I have a bachelor's degree and a graduate diploma in environment. And that brought me to Venezuela for 3 years, where I did like a research project and an internship there at the Ministry of the Environment. But I know that universe sent me to Venezuela to start realizing a lot of things. It was a hard things. I had a big accident happening to me there, but that was the moment that I kind of started going inside. I was on a very destructive path all through university and even when I lived in Venezuela. And you know, like, why I think it's important to share the story is that when you see people on Instagram or wherever and you're like, oh, they have the life that I want, or oh, they're doing so good, we never know what those people have been through, right? Like, people have history, people have been through some things. And I think that maybe it sounds like they're so good and it's so natural, but people have a huge history that often we don't know about. And I was on a fully destructive path through many years of my life, of lots of drugs and alcohol, and just surrounded by a lot of not so good people for me. And I know that I chose this destructive path because I wasn't loving myself and I didn't feel like I fit and I didn't have confidence in myself and whatever, big, long story that we don't need to get into tonight. But so after Venezuela, I started a short career at the federal government of Canada. And I knew right away that that wasn't the life for me. I knew that being in an office for the rest of my life, although government is a good job and you have good pension and all of that, I knew that this is not what I was going to do for the rest of my life. That's not the lifestyle that I wanted. So I was searching, what could I do, right? And a girl talked to me about an online business, so network marketing company. And so that was like over 10 years ago. And at that time, because of my destructive path, I had no confidence in myself. I was completely broken. Like, I was happy being inside of my house on Friday night with my bottle of wine and not talking to anybody. Like, I had a hard time talking to people, guys. Like, that's where I was at that point. But I knew I wanted a different life. I knew I wanted freedom. I knew I didn't want to be stuck in an office all my life. So although I had no idea how I was going to succeed because I had no confidence in myself, I took that leap of faith. I said yes. And it was like I worked a lot on myself, and that was the beginning of the most amazing journey I could ever done. Like, saying yes to that online business over 10 years ago, although I was not ready and it didn't seem like I was going to succeed, was the best decision of my life, because I started a journey of working on myself, of letting go of what didn't serve me, of rebuilding myself. And to me, like, being an entrepreneur is the most rewarding journey is who you become. Yes, the money, yes, the freedom, all of that, but who you become is the most amazing part of it. And that led me to quit my job, to start manifesting my dreams, start manifesting the life that I wanted, surrounding myself with amazing human beings, and manifesting my dream of becoming a full-time van lifer. So July 2019, my partner and I started traveling in our Sprinter. That was a dream. We made it happen in 3 years. And I also started my second online business that was everything I was looking for into a business. And I managed to build a very successful business in a year and 4 months, which I'm so grateful. I'm just getting started. And since then, I've become a digital nomad, and being online was fully my dream as well. So why I'm sharing all of that is because maybe you're at a point in your life that you're like, I have nothing like to succeed. I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that. But I'm the proof that no matter where you're at, you can succeed if you're willing to show up and do the work. And that's what we're going to look at right now. Let me just see the time so we're going to have an hour together, guys, just so you know. Before we start, it's very important to know that. Let's set the table, right? Like, you are 100% responsible for your life. We are all, let me just mute all. Okay, perfect. we are all 100% responsible for our life. So if you love the life you created, that you live, good for you, you created it. And if you don't like the life you're living, you created it also. And like the goal in sharing that is not like to be like, oh my God, I sucked, I created a life that I don't like. Not at all, right? And for some people, it can be harsh to understand that they're 100% responsible for a life. Everything we are living or that's happening in our life, we attracted it. But think about it. If we're 100% responsible for the life that we're living, that means that we're 100% responsible to change it, and we have the power to change it. Imagine, and what we kind of tell us is that life happens to us, right? Like we have no control, we're not responsible, like life is just happening to us. Imagine if that was the case. That would be horrible, right? But because we're 100% responsible, if you are living a life that maybe you don't like, not that you don't like, but there's things that you not so happy with, you have totally the power to change it because you're 100% responsible. And that's exciting, right? So when we realize that we're responsible and that we can create whatever you want, that's when the magic is happening. And I wanted to share that before we start so that you see that that's like the bottom of everything. You are responsible, and after, so yeah, that's it. You're 100% responsible. Second thing to set the table before sharing the tools, you have been programmed, right? Like what you believe, what you think, you have been programmed since you're very young. Like since we all are very young, our parents, society, school, they're all putting stuff into our head, right? Like all their beliefs, the way we live in society, like all of that is a program. But the question is that your truth, right? To me, I know that the way society was, I know that, or was telling us to do, I know that the schooling system, I know that some of the things that my parents were telling me, it was not my truth. It's not the life that I wanted to live. And one of my biggest quality, I guess, is that I was stubborn enough to keep going and not buy on those programs and say like, no, I think there's something else for me, and just create my truth and create my life, right? So that's the question I have for you. Like, what is your truth? What is the life that you want to create? And maybe start analyzing your belief in the program and say like, is that something that I believe in? Or maybe there's something else, right? Because my dad always say like, oh, Natasha, that's not reality. Oh, that's not your reality, but what's my reality, right? And that's what we all have to ask each other. What's my reality? What is the reality I want to create? Just gonna check the chats once in a while. All good, perfect. Okay. So let's start with the different tools that I want to share with you guys that if you apply, again, I promise you can change your life. First thing is the morning ritual. I know we hear a lot about it, like miracle morning, like do like a morning routine and all of that, but why is it good for you to have a morning ritual? How you start your day will shape the rest of your day. Because think about it, like we'll talk about it, but we attract what we think about and how we feel. So imagine you start your day like super stressed out, looking at your email, and then you have an email from your boss that you're like, oh shit, a client is not happy. Like, like you're and just running around and just like, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be in your car, you're in traffic, and then you get to work and you're like, I hate my job. Like, I don't want to see this person. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you think you're going to keep attracting if that's in the mindset and the vibration that you are, right? So if you start your day by doing things that makes you feel good, so that you connect with yourself, you do things that makes you feel good, so you feel happy, you feel relaxed, and you had a high vibration, you're going to keep attracting more of that good stuff into your life during the whole day. So that's why it's so important in the morning, first thing, do things that makes you feel good. Create a little morning ritual that works for you. Like mine is very long. My morning ritual is like 2 hours, but I have the time to do it. And even if you have a job, like even if it's 30 minutes every day, guys, like just at 30 minutes every day, and I'm going to give you example, it's going to set the tone for your whole day. And if you do that every single day, and you start your day feeling so much better, it's going to change everything. So create something that works for you. And if you like, how about I start working at 8? Get up earlier. There's no secret, right? And it's hard to get up earlier. And I swear, when the alarm I get up at 6 in the morning and I don't have to go anywhere. But to me, like in the morning, it's very important. And when the alarm rings, I want to keep sleeping, right? But I know I get so much more benefit from my morning routine than going back to sleep. And I used to snooze so much. I love snoozing. I think it's such a great feeling to be like, oh, 10 minutes more. But now I'm putting my phone at the end of my room, so I have to get up to go stop the alarm, and I stop snoozing. It was the only way, and it's making a huge difference. But some morning I'm just like, I want to go to bed, and I'm like, no, Natasha, keep going. And the benefit I get from that is so much greater than sleeping, if I had a good night of sleep, obviously. So what can you do in the morning, right? And I wrote like morning ritual and evening ritual, because if you're working in the morning, maybe like you can do a little bit in the morning and a little bit at night, because the idea that if you start your day feeling good and then you go to bed feeling good, your vibration is going to stay higher the whole day. So here's an example that you can do, like yoga, right? Prayers, meditation. The money dance. I don't know if a lot of people know what is the money dance, but the money dance is simply dancing in your house saying, I love money and money loves me, and doing the money dance. Do that. I swear it's going to make you happy and you're going to be smiling for the rest of the day. Taking time to read, listening to audiobook or podcast, right? Like as you're getting ready, you can listen to a podcast. Like ideally you want to do some personal growth. Or as you go to work, imagine I don't know if a lot of you are commuting right now, because I don't know if you know, but there's COVID. But if you're commuting, let's say you're commuting 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, that's 30 minutes every day. That's 2.5 hours every week. That's 10 hours per month. So if instead of like listening to the radio, you listen to podcasts and audiobook, like personal growth, that's 10, just there, it's 10 hours of growth, of learning, of like realizing things that you can do in 1 month. And in 12 months, that's like 120 hours. So it's huge, and it can make a really big difference, just that. Also gratitude, we're gonna be talking about that. Visualization is one that I love. So I put some music on, I put the timer, and I just start living the life that I want. I see myself in the house that I dream of. I see myself like going to Mexico to do yoga retreats. I see whatever you feel like. And some days it's different, right? I see myself achieving like what I want in my business. I see my business partner. Like I see my family. I just make a movie in my head, and I live that movie every morning and every night. Affirmation is a big one too. I've started doing that lately in front of the mirror. It's a bit weird the first time, but just looking at myself in the mirror and saying nice things to me. And my first time was like, hey, I apologize for having treated you so bad, right? And just telling I am powerful, I am worthy, I am enough. And just like I start the timer 5 to 10 minutes and I just talk to myself. And I'm already seeing a huge difference in a short time. Journaling as well, working out, connecting with nature, whatever feels good for you. Obviously, you don't have to do all of that, right? But pick a couple and start implementing that every day. And then you can like improve or increase, like add things as you're getting this. But I promise that if you do that every morning and at night, things are going to start changing for you. The second thing, and it's one of the things that I talked about in the morning routine, is being grateful. Being grateful for what you have, right? Because if we're not grateful, the universe is for what we have. The universe is not going to give us more thing. And maybe some of you are like, but I don't have that much thing to be grateful. Yes, you do. We have so many things to be grateful. We have 2 hands, we have 2 eyes, 2 ears. Like we can taste, we can eat, we have teeth, we have a heart that's beating, we have cells in our body that are like keeping us healthy. We have 2 legs to walk, right? Like we eat, most of us, and I'm sure all of you eat 3 meals a day. We have a roof, we have friends, we have love, like there's so many things to be grateful. The planet, the sunshine, the rain, like I could go on forever. because there's so many things we have in our life that we can be grateful, and they don't have to be huge things, small things, right? And gratitude is a feeling, and that's something like when you're in business, like lots of success coach are like, write gratitudes, like it's going to help you be more successful. So I wrote gratitude every morning for many, many years, but I was being a robot. I was like, I am grateful for this. I'm happy and grateful for this. I am happy and grateful for that. But when I understood that gratitude was a feeling and I really had to feel and be grateful for this, that's when everything changed. So now when I write it, like, I am happy and grateful because I'm happy and grateful, let's say, for my heart, because it's beating every day, like all the time, and keeping me alive. I am happy and grateful for my health because it's the most precious gift I could have, you know? So why are you grateful? And really feeling that grateful, that great, like gratitude, the feeling of that. And not only just like taking the time to write 10 things you're grateful for in the morning, but trying to have this feeling throughout the day, right? Like looking outside and being grateful before you eat something, being grateful when you spend time with a loved one. There's like, the more you're going to add gratitude into your life, the more you're going to attract amazing thing into your life. And the magic word is saying thank you. Thank you, thank you. Think about something and just say thank you. Like, just the first thing you can say when you wake up. That's the first thing when I wake up, even if I'm like, oh, I could sleep, but I'm like, oh, thank you for this beautiful day that's starting, right? Like, that's a gift, waking up every morning. And just for that, like, we have a great way to be grateful right when we start our day. And if you're like, wow, I've never thought about gratitude in my life, I highly recommend this book. It's called The Magic. You can find it online. It's a life-changing book. It's changed my life, and I know it's changed the life of a few of you on this call. And it's a 28 days gratitude practice. I've done it twice, and I was just reading it a bit at the beginning when I was doing this call, preparing for this call, and I'm like, okay, it's time to read The Magic again. It's something that we want to go over and over and over. And one of the person, I think she's on this call, but Marina, Marina, see my picture because I'm using your Zoom, but thank you, Marina. I'm so grateful for you. But she talked about this book so much that I was like, she's so annoying with The Magic. But when I started reading it, I was like, thank you, Marina, for having talked about this book for so much, because it really changed my life. So I highly recommend using this book and starting implementing gratitude into your life. The third tips that I can give you is understanding, oops, there's a mistake there, understanding the power of your mind. And that is a huge topic, and I could talk about this forever. But you remember I talk about how we're 100% responsible for our life, and we create the life that we're living. We create a reality. That's how powerful we are. And I know we're not being taught that since we're young, and I'm not going to get into like all those things, but there's maybe a reason why they don't want us to understand how powerful we are, right? Because that's how powerful we are. We create our own reality, whether you believe it or not. And it's not like woo-woo stuff. It's quantum physics. The more we're understanding how the universe works, the more we're realizing that our thoughts are creating everything. And it's literally like that, guys. Our thoughts move particle in the universe, because the reality that we see, we see a physical reality, but the reality of the world is that everything is energy. Everything is moving. If we would see each other, we wouldn't see this, like with our energy, we wouldn't see this dense body. We would just see like moving energy around us. So our thoughts are moving the particle in the universe and bringing them into physical form into our life. Some of you must be like, what are you talking about, Natasha? So reading books on understanding how, or podcasts or YouTube, right? Like how your mind works. And when you understand that your mind is so powerful, like that's when you get your power. And when you become aware of your unconscious thought, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 1 month. It's like a daily practice, and it's a lifetime practice. Like I've been working on that for many years, but the more you realize your unconscious thought and your conscious belief about many different things, right? And the more you realize that you're aware of your thoughts and your feeling and your words, that's how you're going to shape your reality. Because think about it, your thoughts gives you a feeling, right? If you're like, I'm a millionaire, how do you feel? Amazing. If you say I'm poor, and I hate saying that because I'm erasing it because it's so not true, but how do you feel? Horrible, right? So your thoughts will make you feel something, and those thoughts and those feelings are gonna, it's like a radar. A radar? I don't think I'm saying that right in English, but it's like a signal that's being sent in the universe that's gonna create your life. So super important to understand the power of our mind and how like all of this will shape our reality. So the more you learn about it, the more you study it, the more you read it, the more you listen to podcasts nonstop, right? Like some call it the law of attraction. There's different name to it. But the more you learn that, the more you'll be able to shape your reality. And if you really want to get into this, another life-changing resource that I fully recommend is The Happy Pocket Full of Money. I've been reading and doing that kind of work for, I would say, 10 years. And this is, I'm on the last chapter right now. This is the best book I've ever read. It's summarizing everything that I've learned in the last 10 years into one book. And it's teaching you how the universe is working and the particle moving and quantum physics, and in a fun read, not like, whoa, this is heavy. It's fun to read. And yeah, I highly recommend this book if you want to create the life that you want. If not, the other thing that really changed my life was Your Wishes is Your Command. You can get it for free on Spotify. It's like 12 episodes. The first ones are a bit slow. You have to stick to it because the beginning you'll be like, why did she recommend that to me? It's this live conference in Switzerland among like really rich people that are talking about how what those rich people have share upon like generation and generation to create wealth. So it's the law of attraction, but talk about more in a rational way, I could say it. So I've listened to that twice, and my business really blew up after I listened to that. It really was a big difference. So I really recommend those two resources. Other resources are Money and the Law of Attraction is amazing. Abraham Hicks is amazing. And the other one that I really love is You Are a Badass at Making Money. But I highly encourage starting with the two that you see on the screen. So have a clear vision. So another tip is, so, now, and I think you're seeing the link, right? If our thoughts and our feeling create a reality, that's why like having a morning routine makes you have better thoughts, makes you feel better, create a better reality. Having gratitude makes you feel good because you're grateful for what you have in your life. So you have better thoughts, you have better feeling, you create your reality, right? Everything is linked. So if you create your thoughts and reality, if you create your reality with your thoughts, it's so important to know what you want to create, right? To have a clear vision of what you want. What is it that you, oh, sorry guys. What is it that you want? What is it that you want to attract in your life? What is the life that you want to have, right? That you desire. It's so important to have it clear. So you become really intentional about what you want to attract. And we always give this example, but imagine you're going on a road trip and you have no idea where you're going. You don't know where you end up. You might end up somewhere great, but you might end up somewhere that you don't really want to be. And it's the same thing in life. If you don't know, if you're not intentional about where you want to go, and if you don't have dreams and have a vision a bit of about your life is going to throw at you things that you might not want. So be super intentional and write the life you desire. Write a story, right? I did that so many times. Like every beginning of the year, I've been grateful, and then I'll write the life that I'm living. Everything in the present tense, not I will, no, I am, I'm doing this right now, always in the present tense. Have a dream list as well. Like that's super fun, right? Like in my notes, I started having a dream list of different things that I want. Yet when I was doing this presentation, I came upon a picture of this huge Buddha. I think it's in, can't remember which country, but I put it in my dream list. I'm like, I want to go there. And you know, dream list is not, we always think that it has to be like huge thing, but it can be like really small things, like many things, like in a happy pocket full of money is saying that the most successful people and the wealthiest people have a list of 5,000 dreams. It's huge. Start with 100 and, you know, like read it often and have fun reading it and like thinking about it in your visualization as well. Write down your desire, your intention, you know, super important because it's going to make it clear, and talk about it often like you already have it. One of the things that Vincent and I were able to manifest our dream life of becoming full-time van lifer, we talked about it all the time. We didn't have a van, like we didn't have the money to buy the van, like we had no idea how that was going to happen, but we talked about it all the time. Oh, we'll do this in our van. It's going to be like this. It's going to be this. We're going to go there. We're going to do this. Da, da, da. Like it's almost like our van was in the driveway, but it wasn't. And we know we manifested it because in our head, it was like so clear how it was going to be. I put believe in caps because that's the most important aspect. If you do not believe it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Again, our thoughts create our reality. So you have to believe it's going to happen. You don't know when, you don't know how, that's not of your business. Believe it's going to happen and it will. And when it's the right time for that. But believe is the most important thing. So we're entering 2021, right? Flip the time, perfect. We're entering 2021. So it's the time to really sit down and see what do you want to create in 2021. That's something I do every year and I make it a celebration, right? Like, so Vincent and I sit down, or when I was single, I was doing it by myself. And I was just like going in a nice coffee place or have a glass of wine, like put it in an environment that you're comfortable. It's going to be fun. It's like a fun ritual, right? And start reflecting on 2020. Maybe like, okay, how was 2020? And it's not like, oh my God, 2020 sucks. I'm like hit my head because I didn't create anything or I didn't do this. And no, it's not about that. It's about being aware. Okay, that's what happened in 2020. Now, how can I change that, right? It's just about being aware. It's not about like being hard on yourself. We absolutely do not need that. So now, what is your intention in 2021? How would you like your life to be in 2021? What would you like to manifest? What would you like to create? What is your desire? You know, like write all of down on a piece of paper and feel it. Feel like, what is it going to feel like when you live it? You know, like what is the emotion that's coming up? And also, what habits will you integrate, right? Right now we're talking about gratitude, all of that, reading, like what are you going to change? Because the most successful people are people that create their life. We're humans of habit. We're creator of habits. So you either have good or bad habits, but you don't have no habits. We all have habits, but it's just some good and some bad. So which one are you going to change in 2021 to start creating the life that you desire? What do you need to change in your life to create what you desire in 2021, right? So just take the time to sit down and be super intentional and create that vision for yourself, and also be aware, okay, maybe I watch 2 hours of TV every night, so maybe I need to change that to start doing some personal growth or to start working on my dream, whatever that may be, right? Like being really intentional and aware of what you do and what you need to change. And also write your 1 year vision, write your story. So write it like in 1 year. So in 2022, you're gonna read this and you write it like, you know, it's the end of the year and you're living the life that you want. So you're living it now and you're happy because I've moved to Thailand and I've started a very successful business and I did my yoga teacher, whatever is it that you want, right? Like I now work from home with my kids, whatever that you want, and be thankful and create that 1 year vision always in present tense. And if you want to bring it like to the next level, 3, 5, 10, 20 years. I'm still having a really hard time doing the long-term vision. But yeah, the further you can see, the further, and it's not about like being rigid, right? It's having an idea of the life where we want to go, but being flexible at what life can bring us as well, right? It's not like being super rigid, and because you created your vision nothing else can happen and you can't change it. No, it's something you can always come back to and always change, and it's going to be evolving because you will be evolving. So it's just about having fun with it and being high vibe, right? And you can also make a vision board. Vision boards is super fun. And I know how we talk about vision board of like, you know, like have a piece of paper and get magazine and cut all those image. And I don't do them this way because I feel they're a lot of work, or you can print some from a computer. And during the van life, I definitely don't have room for a big piece of paper with images in my van. So the way I do it is I use PowerPoint. I download all the beautiful images that I want on my computer, and I do put it on the PowerPoint. I put all the image, I save it as a JPEG, and this is my desk, my screen, how do you call that? My wallpaper in the back of my computer. So I see my vision board every single day. So to me, that's like an easiest way to do it, quicker. And if an image doesn't resonate so much anymore, I just change it and put a different one. So I feel it's something that you can always change. It doesn't take as much time, and it's more zero waste as well. But if you want to do the paper with the images, go for it. It's awesome as well. Another thing is spend your time mindfully. So again, we talked about, you know, like what the habits do you need to change? What change do you need to do in your life to create the life that you want in 2021? So what do you do with your time, right? We all have the same time. So you can choose to take the excuse and say, I don't have time, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. That's fine. That's going to be your reality, right? But the truth is that we all have the same time. So why are some of us able to create things with the time that we have and some are not? It's just about being mindful of the time that we have and what you do with this time. So what do you do on your spare time, right? Do you binge on Netflix? Are you spending 2 hours a day just like scrolling on your Instagram or on Facebook? Like, is this helping you to be where you want to go? Probably not. So again, it's not like being like, oh, I suck, I spend so much time on Instagram. No, it's about being aware and like, okay, true, I've been spending maybe a bit too much time like scrolling on Instagram. How can I change that? So it's just being aware, right? Like, and being aware of what you feed your mind. Because again, if we go back to, we create our life with our thoughts and how we feel. So what do we nurture? What do we put in our mind, right? Are we listening to the news every single day and having all those negative information being put in our head? That's going to impact how we think and how we feel. We probably going to have a lot more fear than if we put personal growth and other things in our head, right? And if you guys watch the news every single day, I do a test. Try not to watch it for like 2 weeks and see how you feel. I never, ever watch the news. And last year when COVID started, I was in Florida at my parents' place, and they watch the news constantly. And just being with them, hearing about the news nonstop and the case and this and this and that, I became so fearful. Like I called Vincent and I was like, go buy some toilet paper. And he was like, what the heck is wrong with you, right? And then I stopped, like when I came back, I stopped watching the news, and fear left because I focus on what feeds my mind and create my thoughts and make me feel good. So it's super important to be aware of what's going on in your mind and what you're feeding yourself with. So what are you listening to? What are you reading? Are you like spending time watching TV, like TV shows that are not helping you create the life that you want? Like, again, being super mindful and aware. Feed your mind with good resources. Feed your mind with all the things that we just talked about. It's going to change everything again. And also being mindful of who you spend your time with. And that one can be pretty hard because, you know, like we become like the 5 people we spend the most time with. So look at who you're spending time with, right? Like if you hang out with people that are negative and always complaining and always judging and always like blaming like the whole world for what's happening in their life, you will most likely be like this. But if you hang out with people that are believing in like building their dream and creating the life that they want and that are taking action to do this, you will most likely be influenced toward that as well. It's so important to choose carefully. And I've seen the difference in having people in my life that are not so good and having people that are amazing in my life. Like when I was on my destructive path, I had just party people in my life. They were awesome to party. We had lots of fun, but that was it. Those people were not going to lead me to where I wanted to go, that I knew inside, right? And when I realized that, it was hard because like the transition was just, I was alone a lot. I spent tons of time alone because I had to rebuild my group of people, right? And joining my first online business and started being surrounded with like people that are, their health is important for them, and you know, like that believe in their dream and that were believing in me and all of that. Like I started surrounding myself with different people, and it took a little bit of time, and that can be hard because there's some people in your life that you probably know that are not the greatest for you, but they've been in your life for so long that it's hard to take a distance, right? But like if those people are bringing you down, and think about like, how do you feel when you're with certain people? Are you feeling energized, or are they draining you? Are you feeling down and then you leave, you're like, oh, I'm exhausted, or they're energizing you? And that's a huge indicator of how the people are making you feel. So choosing your people carefully is so important, and that's probably like the hardest thing to do if you realize that. And sometimes it's your family, right? And you can't cut off your family because they're your family, but maybe not hanging out as much as you do, or maybe like distancing yourself a little bit just to see how it's going to impact your life. So choose carefully is very important. The other tip is start, I just want to see the chats, everything good. Perfect. Yeah, starting a side hustle. It's very important if you want to create a life that you desire, right? And I'm not here to talk about my business. You guys all know that I have a business that I love, but whatever, you know, there's so many business out there, but why I believe in starting a side hustle is that if you work for someone else, you'll never have true freedom. And if you work for someone else, that might mean like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of your life to create the life that you desire. If that's what you want, then go for it. It's perfect. It's beautiful, right? But having a side hustle to create a second stream of income can also something that can brings you a lot of freedom and help you create that life that you want. Because first, you have a second stream of income. We also, with COVID, that we have no security with our job. We never know when people can lose their job. We don't know what can happen in the world. So having a second stream of income will set you free because you don't have to rely on that job and on one job anymore. But it's also going to help you take control of your life, because I went to a Abraham Hicks workshop in San Diego with a bunch of people in my business, and she said that none of us will be fulfilled if we work from someone else. Think about it, right? Like when you go to work, you know, you get told things that you don't want to do. You have to be at work in a certain time all the time. And I'm not saying that job sucks and don't have a job, but if you really want to create something different for your life, maybe starting your business and becoming your own boss is the way to go for that, right? And building residual income, because if you want true freedom and you need more time to create certain things that you want to do, whatever, again, that dream life is for you, building residual income is a huge key. And some of you might not know what residual income is, because for some reason we're not thought about that, when I think it's something they should teach us in high school so we can decide how we can do that and if we want to do that. Or is it like most of us trade our time for money, right? When I was an employee, I worked 8 hours. I was paid for 8 hours every day. I had vacation pay, but when I was working as a health coach, for example, yes, I had my business, but I was still trading my time for money. I would see a client for 1 hour. I would pay for an hour. I was not working. I wasn't being paid. Residual income is money that's going to come at one point because you have to build it, but it's going to come and you don't have to work. For example, if you have real estate, right? Like you have, you own a building with rental places. You have money coming in every month. That's a residual income. If you invested in the stock market, that's residual income. If you create online courses, you have a talent in whatever it is, create some online courses that you create once, and then every time you sell it, it's a residual income. Residual income is the only way that's going to get you to create true freedom, because if you have to trade your time for money for the rest of your life, and I see a lot of people coming through my ads and wanted to start a business but not knowing, and that's the one thing that I ask him: what do you really want? Do you want to work for the rest of your life, or do you want to have time? Do you want freedom? Do you want to have that time to do the things that you love? And most people will say, I want some time, but I don't want to be working for the rest of my life. And that's what you want. You have to find a way to create residual income. And there's not that many ways, right? If you have a big business with employee, if you create an online program, again, if you invest in stock market, network marketing is a great way to build residual income. If you, what else there is? There's other, but I have a blank. There's like 5 or 6 ways to create residual income. So find a way, and we are so lucky. We live in the era of online work, right? So there's a many great way to create freedom while working online and building residual income. I've put some example at the bottom of the page. So yeah, starting a side hustle will set you free for sure. And my last tip, I love this picture. Are you ready for this last tip, guys? Because it's very important. My last tip is stop caring about what other people think. That's so important. And I know it's so hard, and we feel like we're always concerned about what our family or friend, what people think on social media. But the moment that you break free of not caring about what people think, that's when you're going to accomplish the most magical thing. Because you are you, you know, like nobody else is you. Nobody else lives your life. And people, whatever they think about, their opinion, is not going to pay your bill. It's not going to help you create the life that you want. It's not going to manifest your dream. And if you always care too much about what people think, you're not going to do what you're meant to do. And you're not going to push to get your dream. And you're going to get to the end of your life and be, I should have done that. I should have, you know, and you don't want to get to that, because I don't know if you know that, but the biggest regret people have on their deathbed is not living their life how they wanted to live, and living their life on what they were told to do. So don't have this regret at the end of your life, and stop caring about what people think. And I will always remember that. My friend told me one day, whatever you do, 50% of people judge us. So might as well be judged for what you want, right? Because if you do this, you'll be judged. If you do that, you'll be judged. If you do, people are always judging. So just do whatever you want. And I was judged by so many people. Like, I started network marketing, over 10 years ago. Like, people were like judging a lot. Oh, it's a pyramid scheme, or this and this. I didn't care. I knew where I was going. At one point, I was building my business, and I was working as a barmaid on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And people was like, ooh, Natasha's business must work because she's working in the restaurant, right? I didn't care. I knew where I was going. Like, I was judged by so many people, but I did not care, because I knew what I was going. I knew what I was building. I had, my vision was so clear. And, you know, one friend told me one day, like, Natasha, I love you, but so many people are judging what you do. And I was like, I don't care. Where are those people right now? I don't know, but I'm happy, and I'm living the life of my dream, right? And people that are judging you are people that are not worth it to be in your life, right? And remember that successful people that have like whatever you want, will never, ever judge you. They will always support you, and they always, like, even if you look nervous doing a Facebook Live, for example, they'd be like, good for her. She's doing it. She's pushing it. The people that are judging you, it's people that I can't even do whatever you're doing. And they're judging you because they can't even do it. So they're putting their projection on them. So break free from what people care, guys. And it's just that it's going to change your life. So now I share the tips with you, right? Having a morning ritual, starting being grateful, like having gratitude into your life, understanding the power of your mind, creating a clear vision, and starting a side hustle, whatever that might be for you. But now, are you ready to do the work, right? Like, that's the most important component. You have to show up. You have to show up every day and be doing the work and taking action. And even if you don't know what the actions are, start, like, if you apply what I'm saying, what I've told you today, you know, like whatever your dream might be, you're like, okay, Natasha, but this is not going to realize my dream. But applying that and having a clear vision and being grateful and doing some personal growth and showing up, it's going to start shaping your mind and start attracting into your life whatever is it that you want. And stuff's going to happen in your life that you have no idea how it's going. Like, whatever you want, you don't know how it's going to happen. But if you apply that, I promise it's going to change. But you have to be ready to do the work. And I'm seeing a lot of people wanting to change their life, but not showing up to do the work, and hanging out with your friends every Friday and Saturday, you know, like, and watching TV every night after work. And all of that might be fun, but it's instant gratification. So it's maybe doing the things that you don't feel like doing for the moment, but to have more of whatever you decide in the future. And so you have to show up and do the work and be patient, right? Like, you might be doing whatever I'm saying, and in 2 months you're like, whatever, like, nothing is changing, and I've done that for 2 months. You have to be patient. You have to know that it's going to happen, and you have to be willing to learn and to persevere and never, ever, ever, ever give up. It took me 10 years, and I'm not saying that in 10 years nothing could happen, right? Like, in my other business, I reached quite a certain amount of success, but I was still struggling, and there's still things that I didn't want. And it's with this business that and the last year, 2020 for me was the best year of my life in so many aspects. It took me 10 years to be at a point where I was like, this was my vision. That's what I had in mind, right? And I know you can do it so much faster than that. But imagine if after 3 years doing my first business, I would have given up. Where would I be? Stuck in a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job, miserable? That would be horrible. I never gave up because I knew my vision and knew where I was going. So you guys can never, ever give up. You'll have ups, you'll have downs, and that's normal. It's like the roller coaster of emotion, but you just can never give up. And even if you have a down and you're like, oh shit, I lost track of doing my work, let's get back. And you just continue, right? It's how those magic things are going to happen in your life. And that's, discipline will bring you freedom, right? And that's, you're like, what? And especially a lot of people, I see a lot of people wanted to become an entrepreneur, and myself, you know, I wanted freedom. Like, I didn't want to be told what to do. And then you're what? Like, I have to do all of that, but what I want is free. What I want to do is freedom. Like, I want to be free. I want to have freedom, but I have to do the work and show up every day. So it's kind of counterproductive, right? But having this discipline and being constant every single day or most day of the week or as much as you can will bring you that freedom that you're looking for. So it's very counterproductive, but it's discipline that's going to set you free. Okay, perfect. So if you're like, I want to do all of that, but I know myself and I'm probably going to start and stop, I want to offer you maybe like a supporting tribe and an accountable tribe, right? And if you guys are curious about what is and I know a lot of you know about my business and we talked about it, and if you have question about it, like, reach out. I'll be more happy to share that. I'll be super happy to share that about you, but this is not about talking about my business. But the reason why I'm talking about the Free Life Movement is that we're doing in January a 21-day manifestation challenge. So starting on January 11th, we're going to do a 21-day manifestation challenge, and it's going to be like every day a different tip that's going to help you manifest what you want in your life. And with my team, we're starting a book club, reading The Happy Pocket Full of Money. So on January 11 as well, we're starting, like, we're going to read, like, depending on the chapter, we're going to read like a certain number of chapter every week and jump on a call and talk about it. So reading it and talking about it. So we're going to be accountable, right? We're going to do the work because we're going to jump on a call and talk about it, and the manifestation challenge as well. So if you want some support, you know, like, And maybe like you take time to look at the business, and maybe it's something that's going to help you as well create the life that you want. And if it's that, amazing. But paying $99 just for 21 day of manifestation challenge and doing a happy pocket full of money, I truly believe it's worth it if you know you don't have the discipline to do that by yourself, at least to get you started, right? And we also have like bi-weekly call, and there's tons of other resources. There's a 21 day mindful challenge that you can do. There's like a theta healing. There's lots of good resource, whether you want to do the business or not. We talk about Instagram. So if there's something you want to do, like lots of resources. So I'm not going to share any links with you because again, I didn't want to push that on you, but I wanted to share this possibility for you guys. So just reach out to me and I'll be more happy to talk about that with you. And I want to finish by thanking you so much, guys. And if you want to connect, if you have any question, please reach out to me. A lot of you were connected on Instagram, so here's my Instagram and my email if you want to connect. But I want to say thank you for every single of you for being on this call. And I truly, truly, and again, believe that if you apply anything that I have talked about tonight, and if you're patient, and if you're gentle with yourself, right? Don't try to apply everything and put everything in one day. Just be aware that, okay, that's all the tools that Natasha shared with me. How can I start? And start small, and start in ways that is gonna allow you to be consistent, right? Because if you do if you're like me, like I'm trying to put so much and like trying everything and it's not working, and then I feel like I suck because I can't do it all. But if you start small and you add one, and you had a second one, and you add one, and you're consistent in doing that every single day, I promise your life is going to change. And what I would love so much, that if you start applying anything that I talked about tonight and you're seeing a difference, please reach out to me. Please share it with me. I will be so happy, because I truly believe that you can all accomplish the life that you want. And you stop thinking about whatever happened to you in the past, and you stop blaming whatever, and you stop using your excuse, and think about whatever's possible. You will change your life completely. And I fully believe in you guys. Thank you so much for having been here tonight. I'm just going to look at the chat. So excited for the book club as well. We have like 3 minutes. I don't know if anybody has a question. Just gotta thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And if you think that this webinar could be really useful, first, if you want to maybe have more information about joining the free live, so you have an accountable group for January, reach out to me. If you have any question, reach out to me. If you think that this webinar could be really helpful for anybody that you know in your life, I have the recording. Reach out to me. I'll give you the link. You can share this recording. I truly believe that the most of us will start being responsible for our life and start creating the life that we want and bring more happiness into our life, the better this world will be. So if we all do our work, we're changing the world, guys. So let's all change the world together. I love you. Have an amazing holidays, and looking forward to see you guys transform your life.